Well, hey there, idiots. Welcome back to Observe, and in today's video, we're going to be inserted into the middle of yet more drama with a question that everybody is asking in regards to Bad Bunny and the Grammys. And that's if he was wearing a bulletproof vest underneath his outfit. More on that in just a second. Let's go ahead and roll that intro first. So what with specializing in nonverbal communication, I oftentimes find myself nestled in the midst of a situation that I rarely have anything to do with. Today would be a prime example of that. I don't watch the Super Bowl or really honestly care what goes on during it. I have other things that can take my time. However, Bad Bunny was playing at the Super Bowl and the internet and media has been exploding. Then it all kind of boils back down to the Grammys here in 2026. And Bad Bunny was nominated at the Grammys, and people had some pretty overt questions about what he was wearing. And the theory is that he might be wearing a bulletproof vest underneath his outfit due to safety concerns. He had been receiving death threats and whatnot by that point already for being nominated also to play at the Super Bowl. And so, in today's video, I'm going to be looking at the footage that we have here of him in his Grammys award outfit, talking up on stage, and hopefully by the end of this, we'll be able to land on more of a conclusive video. Before diving into this, the internet is largely divided on this, whether or not he was or was not wearing some form of body armor under his outfit. And the biggest argument against it is that there was a video released by Vogue that showed him getting ready into said outfit, and there was never any display of body armor of any form there, which I've linked the video that is being referenced. It's in the description. If you want to go and watch that, if you do watch that, you'll quickly see the video never shows him actually putting on the upper half of his garment. It's kind of just him before, and then suddenly we're doing a hard cut and he's standing there. So that being evidence enough to disprove the existence of any form of bulletproof protective wear is not sufficient. So with that in mind, we're going to be watching his nonverbal communication throughout this, talking about some of the nuances around body armor and what might go into that, and then by the end, we'll hopefully have a clear conclusion as to what could be happening here. I will let you know, I walked into this expecting something and came out of it with a different conclusion than I expected, which is always an interesting time for me. Regardless, let's go ahead and watch this little clip. It's not very long. We'll watch all the way through it, and then we'll go back through it again and talk about what we see.
Before I say thanks to God, I'm gonna say eyes out. We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans. Also, I want to say to the people, I know it's tough to know, not to hate on these days, and I was thinking, sometime we get contaminados. I don't know how to say that in English. The hate get more powerful with more hate. The only thing that is more powerful than hate is love. So, please, we need to be different. If we fight, we have to do it with love. We don't hate them. We love our people, we love our family, and that's the way to do it, with love. Don't forget that, please. Thank you. Thank you, God. And thank you to the Academy.
All right, so there's the entirety of the clip all the way through so you can kind of see just how everything flows. Now, before we get into analyzing the nonverbal communication of things, let's go ahead and talk about some of the statistics. Statistically speaking, if there is going to be a criminal that goes on a public spree, I'll say, and keeping all of this within community guidelines, I hope you can probably fill in some of these blanks when I'm saying a public spree. That's usually done with a weapon that can be held in the hand. Smaller, more compact, easier to hide, easier to get places, things like that. Now, in regards to body armor, there are multiple tiers of body armor, and this is a uniform system for smaller weapons that can be held in the hand. Normally, up to a level 3A body armor is expected. This is also what can be most easily concealed. It's what you will oftentimes see in undercover officers or just anywhere where you might expect or might think that there would be a need for that form of protection in a covert way. The highest level of possibly concealable body armor would be up to the 3 level, maybe sometimes the 3+. Once you get beyond that, you start adding in plates, stuff like that, and it becomes far too bulky to be hidden underneath. Now, a fascinating thing is that while public sprees are often done by smaller weapons, the more specific targeted attacks for high-profile people is usually carried out by a larger weapon that has more power behind it and more accuracy for more distance as well. Now, the level of able to be concealed body armor is not really effective against that caliber of weapon. To be able to protect against that level of weapon, you need a higher level of armor. That being said, in instances like this, public speakers, political leaders, anything like that, where there's the worry of an assassination attempt, oftentimes, regardless of whether or not it is as useful against a larger weapon like that, concealed body armor is worn, and it will protect against most things, close quarters and smaller weapons, and at least it does a little bit of prevention against a larger one. So I had a lot of back and forth going through this because on some level, I wanted to just believe the internet, that in fact, he did not wear body armor, he didn't feel the need to wear body armor, and that the short video clip of him getting ready, in fact, proved that, and I was ready for that. That's what I was going into, just anticipating. Most of the time, the simplest answer is the correct one. But we're gonna go ahead and start watching back through this and talk about some of the nonverbals that go into this, his behaviors, and what he's doing with certain manipulators that I feel are indicative of him actually likely wearing body armor. Let's go ahead and watch through this.
Before I say thanks to God.
So starting off here, right off the bat, we're seeing some nonverbal indicators of overt nervousness. There's some very, very forceful manipulators happening with his trophy that's moving around a lot. Those manipulators come up when you're feeling stressed, agitated, anxious on any level. It can be with items like he's fidgeting with that trophy there. It is oftentimes with clothing or even just with your body itself in various ways. And so we're seeing that come out there. That lets us know that he is feeling overtly anxious. He's feeling nervous in this area, which again, by this point, he had already received multiple death threats and a lot of backlash for even just being selected to do the Super Bowl halftime show. So at that point, we're seeing non-verbally that he is feeling overtly anxious. Another thing that he's doing, which this one is, I mean, the setting kind of demands it as well, but has some nonverbal weight behind it, is the positioning of the trophy. He's keeping it largely in front of his torso, which, yeah, most people are just gonna hold it in front of their torso. That's where your hands come together. It makes the most sense. That also being said, during times of intense anxiety, stress, where a person perceives or feels like there may be a threat, both known or unknown, you'll see protective behaviors around the torso. It's centered around the evolutionary drive to protect the vulnerable areas of your body. So he is also keeping the trophy kind of in front of himself or seeing those manipulators. Those are the nonverbal indicators that he's feeling pretty stressed about this, pretty anxious, pretty nervous. understandably so. For the outfit that he's wearing, the coat has an immense amount of structure built into it. You even see in some of the shots here in this clip, you could see down his spine, there are eyelets all the way down, and that's based around this almost corset sort of direction that they're taking with this coat. And if you go and watch the video that I've linked underneath where they kind of talk about the outfit itself, you'll be able to see all the rest of the details. There was a lot of thought that went into that outfit that he's wearing there. Nevertheless, structure is primary in it. Another thing that he's wearing during this is an undergarment corset of sorts. It's not a full-on corset with the lacing and the ribbing and whatnot, but it is that shapewear sort of direction of corset. It's usually used to hold a person's torso more stable after like a surgery, and you don't want things jostling and moving around as much. It'll be worn there, but it's also used in the fashion world. So he's wearing that. Now, that is the only mention of structure in his outfit from any party that exists that I was able to track down. I've spent a lot of hours looking for this, more than I ever anticipated looking into people's fashions for the Grammys and things like that. That's just not normally the avenue that I point my attention towards, but I did for this one. And nowhere else does it mention any other structure-based things or constriction-based garments like that, especially when it comes to his shirt, the button front that he's using right now. And we need to pay attention to this specific region. Now, this region here, which is, if you kind of feel where your rib cage is, that is where body armor oftentimes stops, is at the bottom of your rib cage-ish region. That allows for some flexibility, bending, twisting, things like that. Now, another thing to keep in mind with body armor is that it kind of works, especially as the softer concealable body armor, kind of works in the same way of like how your shoes do. You wear it more and it fits more to you. If you have a brand new vest, it's gonna stick out. It's gonna have some areas, they call it printing. It's gonna show up in areas where it hasn't formed to it, it hasn't molded to you quite yet. And this will lend towards this barrel sort of look to a person's torso that is unnatural. One of the larger defining tells of there being the existence of a body armor underneath a shirt, there's two that I can overtly speak to. One is the flatness of the chest. There's not a lot of topography to that, if you will, which Bad Bunny, he's in decent enough shape. He has topography to his chest. And the reason that I know this is because I spent several hours going through looking at different interviews, different concerts, different wardrobes to see how fabric falls across his chest. In plenty of other areas and instances where he's wearing a plain button front shirt, you see clear topography on his chest indicating that, you know, it's just him underneath it. We're gonna watch through this and see if that exists here. Another thing that we'll watch for is on the underside of the body armor. Oftentimes you'll be able to see a lip of some form where there's obviously some sort of thickened material beneath, and that causes there to be a divot, a lip underneath the clothing if it's sitting oddly. So we'll watch for that and talk about it.
I'm gonna say eyes out. We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans.
All right, so during this entire time, you can see he has a little bit of torso movement. There's not a lot. He's not trying to do gymnastics up on stage. He's accepting an award. That being said, you could still see a little bit of movement. And during that time, this region stays fully stationary, stagnant. There's not any flex to it, which, all right, you know, no big deal. He's not moving a lot. It's not like we have a lot of opportunity to see him flex in that area, but there is no flex. If you look at this region of his chest throughout the entirety of it, one, obviously buttoned all the way up to the top with a bow tie, and the material of the shirt is thick. It's very opaque. You can't see through it, which that opacity not only is indicative of a higher quality material, but it also allows for the masking of any undergarment materials. This would include a bulletproof vest. Now, what I find more interesting, besides the flushness of this area, which I had mentioned before, is you can see a small lip at the very top of where his coat comes together. Again, I did digging on this. I wanted to see, is this something that maybe his torso has a unique shape that inspires that sort of fabric to fall that way? And from all of the other footages that I could find, his shirt never falls that way, except for in this specific instance. So I'm left with two possibilities. Either one, that this shirt is extremely structured. Perhaps the buttoning reinforcement line here is very thick, which would have it hold a shape like that. But then where that also stops is fascinating. It doesn't reach all the way to the point of the V of the overcoat and spill over in that area, which would kind of lean towards that fabric just falling that way. It falls a little bit weirdly and awkwardly above that, which pushes me down the avenue of he has something thick around his torso region on this upper half. Some people have noted this, and the immediate response is this could just be fashion. He wants to portray this specific silhouette with his outfit, and so maybe this is a foam padding that's in there, or a structured padding of some form that's in that area. However, this is usually centered around people who do not have the physique to pull off the silhouette that's being spoken of. And while he is using the undergarment corset style thing, he was not shown anywhere in the Vogue clip or in any other instance of wearing some form of padding on the top. He is also built in such a way that he does not need that. His physicality does not require extra building on the top. As most people, it would just be slimming towards the waist. So that doesn't make sense, having a fashion padding underneath the shirt in such a way that creates this odd billowing out silhouette right around his diaphragm doesn't make sense for the fashion that he was even going for in this specific instance. Now we're gonna get to a little bit further down here and we'll see another thing that I have an even harder push towards him wearing something underneath his shirt. Let's watch it.
Also, I want to say to the people, I know it's tough to know, not to hate on these days. And I was thinking, sometime we get contaminados. I don't know how to say that in English. The hate get more powerful with more hate. The only thing that is more powerful than hate is love. So, please, we need to be different. If we fight,
that's the instance there that I feel is more revealing and pushing down that level of there's concealed body armor at play here. So you could see him trying to tuck his shirt down into his suit jacket there. And as he does so, once he moves, you can see that it returns back to this state and it's at the same line. That fold that we had talked about before is at that same level as it was before, and it doesn't fully match with the concept of it just being the fabric sitting and being restricted lightly by the overcoat. It all pushes towards this extra bulk not being a part of the outfit, but the outfit being designed in such a way and kind of curated in such a way to be able to better mask a low level, perhaps a level 2 to level 3 body armor underneath, which they do also make said body armor in white because, again, very oftentimes politicians, public figures, people at risk of public backlash or an attack like that will wear it underneath their suit coats or jackets or whatever like that. And so it needs to be something that's not a super dark black or an army green, something along those lines. So there are white body armor vests that do exist specifically for concealment. We'll go ahead and wrap this up and then I'll kind of give my synopsis at the end.
we have to do it with love. We don't hate them. We love our people, we love our family, and that's the way to do it, with love. Don't forget that, please. Thank you. Thank you, God. And thank you to the Academy.
So there's the wrap up of it. So, synopsis being, I walked into this fully expecting to have to take the role that I oftentimes do on the channel of calming the internet down a little bit, a theory has gone off the rails, and having to try to base it back around to observable stuff. And then as I continued to go through this, chipping away at it, I found myself steering away from that original initial assumption that I was going to be quelling a theory to switching around to more so believing that that was the case. I do actually believe that Bad Bunny had to wear body armor to the Grammys, or felt that he had to wear body armor to the Grammys due to the intense backlash and turbulence of the nation at this point. Now, once we get to the just here recently aired Super Bowl halftime show, he still is wearing a very structured outfit, but it again is tailored in such a way that that's part of the look. It was supposed to be a play off of a football uniform, a lot of structure in the shoulders, kind of where the fabric fell to. That also being said, you can see again that where everything is placed is very conveniently placed over where body armor would be worn again. So I not only believe that he did in fact wear body armor to the Grammys, and I don't think that the one video by Vogue showing him not get dressed does anything to disprove that. I also have a suspicion that he may have worn light body armor to the Super Bowl halftime show as well for the same concerns. So that's my analysis of the Bad Bunny Grammys, possibly bulletproof Kevlar protective gear being worn underneath his clothing. If you have any other evidence that shows distinctly and concrete that he did not wear anything like that under his clothing, please let me know in the comments of this video, because I tried to find something that I could to track down to maybe add some weight to that, and I just wasn't able to. So if you do know something, let me know. If you would like to be able to see some other content, some other analyses, comments is a great place to do so. If you want to be able to see them more regularly, hit subscribe, do the bell thing and all of that. If you want to support the channel while I try to make more copyrighted materials, I like to do analyses on movies and TV shows and true crime documentaries and whatnot, and oftentimes all of that content is claimed by the studios that own it, meaning that it's fully demonetized. If you would like to make those sorts of videos happen more often, consider heading over to Patreon and memberships. I will be uploading more content hopefully over there in the future, but right now it's just something that kind of helps keep the channel going when the AdSense side of things is non-existent. If you can't, I get that. Thank you regardless for watching, but if you can, that is also very appreciated. It has all of the donation tiers from $1 all the way up to whatever I think you want to. But yeah, consider those if you would like to. Thank you again for watching this video, but without further ado, that's all that I've got for today. My name is Logan, and you have been oh so awesome as you always are, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.